X-Cutioner song part 10. This is X Factor 86. Now, I didn't go into it in the last issue, but Wolverine, as him, Bishop, and Cable are looking for the whereabouts of Scott and Jean, Wolverine finally comes to the realization that the reason that they can't hear any of Jean's psychic screams, he goes, they're not on Earth at all. And I love that ending panel. I just didn't want to spoil that for you guys last issue. But now that we're here, I love how we have Stryfe in the background, and then our characters here on the, what do you call it, surface of the moon. While Cyclops and Jean escape from their captor Stryfe, Professor Xavier's condition worsens, and the X-Men, X-Factor, and X-Force are about to take their biggest leap of faith by entrusting their most vaunted enemy, Apocalypse, to save their mentor's life. Stan Lee presents X-Cutioner song. This is called One of These Days, written by Peter David, R.A.P., my good sir, penciled by Jae Lee, inked by Al Milgrom, lettered by Steve Dutro, colored by Glynis Oliver, edited by Kelly Converse, group editor Bob Harris, and editor-in-chief at this time was Tom DeFalco. So a lot of big powerhouse names. I love this opening panel. I know it's stylized, like, why would Jean be on the planet, what do you call it, the surface of the moon, arching her back, but still. Comics are a visual medium. So if you just see them there lying dead or suffocating for air, it's going to be boring. So just getting this opening of Scott ready to pounce, Jean backing him up as always, with the Earth here in the background and the sun eclipse in there. Beautiful way to just kind of open up and get that intensity going. And then before we can do anything else, we get pow, zoom. And this is Wolverine explaining. Now, one thing that one of our community members said that Jae Lee is an acquired taste. I agree. But his later work, like Batman, Superman, great stuff. Here you could see he was still finding his way, where he'd have moments of excellency, and you can kind of see that he's still kind of working a little bit out. I mean, it's not horrible, but he was still early in his career enough that you could see where he needed some work. But anyway, I love how here it says, if any single word could sum up their essence, their goals, everything that makes them what they are at this very moment, that word would definitely be confused. Storm doesn't understand why Wolverine would think that. And she goes, are you 100% sure, Logan? No. Which might mean nothing or everything. And then we cut away to Scott, and it looks like almost like a skull. You just see how he's having a hard time fighting for air here on the Earth's surface. And I love how as Logan narrates, we see that these two are fighting with everything that they are to get away from Stryfe. And if you realize, other than this first page of Logan's narrative to Storm and the X-Men, there's no other words to be said. Especially here, this is another one of those enough said moments where we see Jean kind of looking a little hopeless. Scott, knowing that he's going to be there for her, grabs her, and they do everything that they can together. Until, air, we've got, slowly, Jean, low, steady breaths, gonna be sick. And then we get this beautiful, I feel like this should have been a full page, but still, nonetheless, this is a gorgeous rendering of Stryfe. Well, 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 isn't this cozy? And then we cut away to more exposition, which I really don't want to get into. It's just everyone making a plan. And again, you can see how Jae Lee's faces need a little bit of work here, but we know, moving forward, it's all good. Now, one thing, you can see Peter David's humor. He always had a great way of hitting you with that dramatic intensity, but then having a moment to let you kind of go, to just let that moment break, where, what does it say? B says, I hate to remind you people of this, but the professor still needs help. Unless we're just planning to write him off. Of course not, Hank. You know better. Come on, Apocalypse should be sufficiently rested by now. And if we got any hope at all of saving Xavier, then it rests with, hi, don't mind us. We were eavesdropping. Nope, not us. I can't take them anywhere. And that's how you use goofy humor. Not all the way through like, oh my God, look at this coffee. It's a latte. Oh my God, coffee. We're going to fight for 12 pages about coffee because we're so funny and random. No, it's just a moment to kind of make you go, after all this drama, because we get that one beat and then boom, Stryfe standing over them. Wondering, how can you hear me? Simple. I took the liberty of implanting subconscious transmitters behind your You're so predictable, don't you see? Oh, and Cyclops, I wouldn't bother with an optic blast if I were you. It'll just ricochet and right on in there. It won't hurt you, of course, but it might seriously damage your companion. Don't bother asking him, Jean. He doesn't know rhyme or reason beyond his own megalomania. His kind. Up on all the latest supervillain psychology, are we? You're so secure, Cyclops, always knowing that you're in the right, that in your purity you could have never done anything wrong to bring this on yourself. You're all innocent, aren't you? Self-righteous fool. You destroy innocence. But I'll tell you what, Cyclops, I'll offer you a chance. It is, after all, the least I can do. And I always do the least I can do. In that respect, take after you. Now remember, 1992, we don't know anybody's relationships yet. So, that's some rough stuff. And then we finally get a moment with Apocalypse. And of course, no one's really trusts him. And Moira's like, well, are you just going to stand there and look menacing? Or are you going to help him? I'm merely planning my strategy, woman. I say we watch him like a hawk. Alex, I do everything like a hawk. The technovirus has completely invaded him. Everything from cardiovascular to neural. He is beyond medical help. But you can help him, of course. All it shall require is this device in approximately 90 seconds. Would you mind telling me precisely what that device is? Yes, I would. Alex, what is he doing? He's using that gizmo on the professor. And then all of a sudden we just see, dear God. And I just love the use of that technovirus. And then we see Xavier stand up almost like in a Messiah type pose. And what's her name? Val's like, Havoc, we've been had. Archangel's been taken over by Apocalypse again. He's out to destroy Xavier once and for all. And I love how we don't get answers at this exact moment. We just get a very silhouetted Warren and just a very cold, expressionless look. Now, one more thing I do want to point out in terms of Stryfe. Again, these moments, I love the paneling, just the negative colors just add to this intensity. And Stryfe, seeing that these two are running out of air, he goes, say that you want and need me. Say that there's no one more important in your life to you right now than me. Go on. It's your only hope. Never. We don't trust you. We don't want your help. We'd rather die. And I just love that it shows that Stryfe does not know who these people are at all. Who do you think you're talking to? Get up. Come on, don't just lie there. Look at me. Look at what denial and cruelty has done to me. Look, I order you. I order you. Then we see him break down. You wonder, why is he so intense about this? Now, spoilers if you've never read this, because I'm going to kind of break into the spoiler because it's just too good to not share with y'all. Val and Alex think that Archangel's flipped. Storm says, Warren, you have 2 seconds to move, or, and then he finally speaks, or you'll screw things up, is what Aurora. No offense. Watch. We see Apocalypse just full on merge with Xavier for a moment, and then all of a sudden, thump. The operation is over. And we just get this horrible little thing that he crushes with his foot, which kind of reminds me of The Matrix. I wonder if that's where the filmmakers for that movie got this idea. But that's just intense. Now, I don't want to go any more into that. Damn. This was an intense issue. Like, oh, real quick. Get used to this panel of Bishop, Cable, and Wolverine, because it's a running, sort of a low-key running gag through the entire book until we get to the final few pages. It is funny. It makes you kind of laugh, but then go, oh, that's what we're doing. But guys, X Factor 86. This book was freaking fantastic. I forgot how much I love this issue. And I remember when I was a kid, I didn't understand Jae Lee's artwork. I was so used to like Andy Kubert and Greg Capullo's work that when I saw this, I was like, man, this is such a stark contrasting difference. But for what they were trying to tell here in an Extinction Agenda, it works so well for X Factor. So if you've enjoyed what you've seen, please first and foremost support your local comic shop or wherever's going to get your action figures and comics, and grab the floppies or the collected trade. Because, guys, the X-Cutioner song is definitely one of those series that just is highly tied into X-Men. And if you've enjoyed this review, really would appreciate if you take a moment to like, share, and subscribe. Helps the channel more than you could possibly know. And if you don't mind hitting that fancy little X bell next subscribe, that way as I get typical content, you guys get notified. Come to the channel, and I love talking with you and hearing your thoughts and feedback down in the comments or the socials. We'll try to make sure that the links down in the description. So with all that said, hope you all continue to have an absolutely amazing day reading, and happy hunting, everyone.